So, I was on the market for an iPhone, but as I was on a budget, I didn't want to spend more than a couple $100. That's how I came upon the iPhone 8 on Amazon, retailing for only about $200. After having this phone for about a month now, I wanted to come on and share with you guys my experience with this phone in 2021. In this video, I'll be going over 4 aspects of the phone that I consider the most important. 1. The performance. 2. The camera. 3. The battery life. And 4. The design. So let's start. 1. Performance. The iPhone 8's performance, I would say, for the most part, is phenomenal, being able to chew through all the tasks I throw at it smoothly and seamlessly. For me, I mostly use my phone pretty moderately, mostly only for social media, using applications like Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, with an occasional use for games such as Clash of Clans and Minecraft. The iPhone 8's A11 chip sufficiently powers the device, and I have no lags or stutters whatsoever. Of course, a phone's performance is completely determined by how one uses it, so if you're planning to use this device for things such as hardcore gaming, the iPhone 8 having a 4-year-old processor most likely isn't your best option. But if you're a light to medium user like me, the iPhone 8 is a strong contender. For performance, I would rate the phone a 9 out of 10. Number 2. The camera. The iPhone 8's camera is pretty poor compared to the flagships of today. The camera just can't compare to the likes of those such as the Samsung S21 or the iPhone 12. And being that it only has one camera lens, you won't be able to take ultra-wide pictures or crazy super zoom pictures. But if you're in the market for this iPhone, you're probably not considering getting a recent flagship. You're probably looking at other budget devices in the $200 price range. And comparing the iPhone 8 to those phones, the camera overall is up to par. The phone takes good pictures in optimal conditions with good colors and sharp details. When put in harsher conditions, photos are more of what you would expect a $200 device to be able to produce. Overall, I would rate the iPhone 8's camera a 6 out of 10. Number 3. Battery life. Battery life on the iPhone 8 is pretty bad. As it is sporting a tiny 1800 mAh battery that's 4 years old, there's no other way to put it. At most, I would only be getting around 4 hours screen on time on a single charge. If you compare this to the $200 Moto G Power, which has a 5000 mAh battery, there's no way I can say this phone has good battery life. For the month that I had the phone as my main driver, I always had to plug in my phone constantly throughout the day, and I would have severe battery anxiety every time I left the house. For times where I had to push the phone harder, such as turning up the max brightness or having to use mobile data, battery life would fare even worse, dropping around 20% in only about 15 minutes. And for that, I would have to give the iPhone 8's battery life a 4 out of 10. Number 4. Design. Objectively speaking, the design of the phone is really outdated. It has gigantic bezels, and it looks exactly the same as the 2014 iPhone 6. Comparing to other budget phones released in 2021 and to other flagships that were released in 2017, the iPhone 8's design is pretty tragic. What I do love about the design is the fingerprint sensor. In today's world where masks are required, Face ID is less than ideal, and the iPhone 8's Touch ID is amazing. And honestly, I kind of really like the phone's design because it is really iconic. Anyone could look at this phone and recognize that it's an iPhone. As for my rating, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. It's pretty outdated, but it's also an iconic design. And really, opinions about design are pretty subjective, so as a viewer, you should decide for yourself if you like the design or not. So those are the 4 features of the phone that I wanted to talk about. In conclusion, I would say that the iPhone 8 is pretty average. If you can get over the subpar battery life, there is nothing really that bad about the phone. I would like to point out that even though the device is 4 years old, Apple typically supports their phones for 5 years. So if you do get it in 2021, you'll likely be getting another whole year of full software updates. Most of the phones in the $200 price range don't ever see any software updates after they're released. So, if you're in the market for a budget device, the iPhone 8 would be a pretty good option. It really depends on what you need out of a phone. If you want a device with better design and or battery, I would say to look at something like the Moto G Power. But if you just need a solid device with good performance, maybe as a work phone or for a child, or maybe you just want iOS for things such as iMessages and interconnectivity with other Apple devices, then the iPhone 8 is the way to go. So that is my review on the iPhone 8, and I hope you found it helpful. So please leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.